Like, let's say if my whole family got wiped out or something by somebody or some event, like, yeah, it'd be hard to swallow.
But what would you guys say then, on the flip side, the greatest evidence that God does not exist? If that same person, whether it be an atheist or agnostic, says to you, okay, what would convince you that God does not exist? What would be the greatest evidence for that? I mean, I think some people would naturally go to, well, if Jesus didn't actually exist, if he didn't die and not only just die, but rise from the grave, Paul even says that our faith is just worthless. It's
yeah,
meaningless.
we don't have. I mean, if we talk about Jesus for a sec, we don't actually have any scientific proof that Jesus died on the cross and rose again. We have, written accounts, right?
Yeah,
but we don't have the tomb. We don't have the bloody shawl. We don't have the nails. We don't have physical evidence.
Mm-hmm. So what would convince you to actually just walk away from your faith? You know what? God doesn't exist.
That's a hard one.
The only time that usually something like that happens that I can recall is it usually has something to do with tragedy.
Yeah.
Because,
like, let's say if my whole family got wiped out or something by somebody or some event, like, yeah, it would be hard to swallow.
But then we get something like Amazing Grace.
Or if the world, let's just say all of a sudden, or if the world did not have systems of governance and control, right? Like we live in a fallen world, but we have systems of governance and control to make sure that our society and our civilization do not just descend into absolute chaos, where it's just every man for himself. Like if the world imploded like that, and there was no, there was nothing happening after that. Like we're facing extinction event, and that's it. Like there is nothing happening after like that. I don't know. That would be big evidence for me, I think.
Well, I think there is an argument that can be made that, like you've called it the fallen world, and I think you can say that is an example of why people necessarily say that, well, there can't be an intelligent design, there can't be some huge thing. And it's just like, and I don't really like that argument, because it's like, well, if there is something, that is going on, that why does so much suffering have to be happening? Why does, why can't we live in a paradise? Well, it's just like, well, hold on. If we have intelligent design, this is an intelligence that is so, like, looking at this from a scientific standpoint, if from a scientist says, okay, there is some higher power, there is something that created this world, this is an intelligence that is so far beyond anything that we can even conceptualize. Because if there is intelligent design that has created the world, we can't even grasp how they would build the world. Like how that would even be something that could even be possible. Like the technology, like you're basically talking about like things that, can shape atoms at will into any different thing. It can create new different molecules. It can create different types of atoms to go in different locations. Like you're talking about something that is just mind-bogglingly huge. Like, because if there's an intelligence design, that means that there is something that literally created the air we're breathing, the the wood, the trees that we're sitting on. You know, like, it's just, we can't even conceptualize that. So how can we put whatever situations like, oh, well, why does there have to be suffering? Why does there have to be grass? We can't answer why there has to be grass, so how can we even come to an understanding about why it would be made?
I think the suffering is probably the greatest evidence that God does not exist, and I think what a lot of skeptics and seekers do cling to that. But as you were saying, though, it's quite the dichotomy. In one way, it's a lot of people, it is the greatest evidence, but it actually is also evidence that actually points to the existence of God.
Well, it's basically because, like, if you actually, like, it's explained in Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
We are put on this world so that we can spend time with Christ through eternity. So this, to us, this is a testing ground. This is our probationary period. This is, oh, you think that you deserve this? Well, okay, sure, let's try it. I wanted company, but I want to make sure that the company I spend the rest of my, or a long time with, are people that I actually want to spend time with. And so I am going to put them through different situations. It's no different than an interview process for a job. Just, we get to live our entire lives going through this. And so it's just like, yeah, if it doesn't exist, okay, well then, you know, the whole world just is something, and my life doesn't mean anything, and really, why should I try and live a good life? But if living a good life, or living a life by the standards that are set out by the Bible, means that, you know, when life is going to be hard, that I can keep on living life. Oh, wait a minute. You mean we know that stuff's going to go wrong. We know we are going to face situations which are going to be very difficult. And yet this gives me a way of dealing with that. This gives me a reason as to why I would want to keep living after that. Oh, that might be something that is actually good to listen to, because everyone will agree the world is not an easy place to live.